Before I could reply, a large rotund man walked into the great hall and called out to the gathered crowd. He was magnificently attired in formal Highland dress, a black Prince Charlie jacket and 3-buttoned waistcoat paired with a pleated tartan kilt, white hose socks, a calfskin sporran, and gilly brogues. He looked to be in his 60s and had a rather florid complexion, with the kind of flushed skin and broken veins of someone who enjoyed his drink frequently.
"Welcome, welcome, how are you?"
he said in a booming, jovial voice.
"My name's Angus Mackay and I'm your host. Aberglen Castle has been in my family for generations and I'm delighted to welcome you to my home."
He beamed at us.
"We're looking forward to showing you the famous Scottish hospitality. My staff and I will do everything to make your stay as comfortable as possible. Feel free to wander around the castle, and if you have any questions, just ask—" "Yeah, I got a question," yelled Jerry Hudson. "You wearing anything under that kilt?"
He guffawed loudly, and there was a twitter of nervous laughter from a few others, but I also saw several people roll their eyes. Next to me, Connie and Bruce grimaced. Angus Mackay gave a forced laugh.
A better question would be where that idea came from. There's no documented evidence to say a true Scotsman shouldn't wear underpants under his kilt. 'Twas probably a joke that's going to become urban myth. Mind ye, Scottish culture is full of myths and traditions which have spread all over the world. You'd be surprised how many common beliefs and customs originated from Scotland."
He pointed at the American guests.
"For example, did you know that one of your biggest holidays started here in Scotland? Halloween is rooted in the Celtic festival of Samhain. 'Twas believed that this was a time when the veil that protected us from the other world became thin, allowing spirits and demons to pass through. So people started guising, that is, putting on disguises when they had to venture out so that demons would not recognise them and do them harm. And that's become the modern tradition of Halloween costumes. Even trick-or-treat, comes from the old Celtic beliefs that you had to leave tokens of food to appease the spirits." "No way," said Jerry Hudson, grinning. "So you Scotch gave us Halloween, huh?"
Bruce winced next to me and muttered,
"It's Scots, you idiot."
Angus Mackay, however, was continuing unperturbed.
We love our myths and legends here in Scotland. Most places have a story attached. In fact, Aberglen Castle itself has a legend. The legend of the Phantom Piper."
There was a hushed silence in the great hall. Everyone rapped as they waited for him to continue his story. Even the children were sitting quiet and wide-eyed. Mackay smiled, looking pleased.
"Well, legend says there was once a ghostly presence in the mountains around Aberglen Castle, and the people of the village were terrified. So they came to the laird and asked him for help, and he sent his best piper out to the hills. Now this piper had a cat, a wee black creature with yellow eyes, who followed him everywhere he went, just like a shadow. And so when the piper went out into the mountains, the cat went too. And all the village could hear the music of the pipes as they got fainter and fainter."
Mackay dropped his voice.
"Until at last it stopped altogether, and the villagers couldna hear no more. They searched for the piper for days and days, but they never saw him again."
"What happened to him?" asked Safa in a loud whisper.
Mackay shrugged. "Who knows? Perhaps he was spirited away by the fairy folk. Or perhaps he found his way out of the mountains on the other side of the Highlands. Or maybe he's out there still."
He turned his eyes towards the windows, and all the guests turned their heads too to stare out at the mountainous landscape.
"But they do say that if you walk out in the mountains around Aberglen on a dark night, you might see a wee black cat with yellow eyes, and you might hear the piper playing nearby."
Mackay paused dramatically, a twinkle in his eye.
There are some who even say that when you hear the music of the pipes up in the mountains, it's a sign that someone at the castle is going to die.